right, we should be live here. Hello, Brittany, are you there?
I am.
All right. Welcome to this episode of the Duck and Dog Show. We are here live on YouTube streaming for you this week, just like we do with every Monday. And we have a great show for you this week. We're going to be talking about Christmas at the Magic Kingdom. And the best part is Lisa is going to join us sometime during the show. So be prepared for that. So she will be joining us this week. Michael is unfortunately out this week as he is out having fun at Epcot today. Um, and we're all very jealous of him. And we're not mad at him at all. And we're not upset that he's at Epcot and we're not. I'm just kidding. All right. So, kicking this week off, we are talking Christmas at Walt Disney World, Christmas at the Kingdom. That's what I titled this live stream. We'll title this podcast Christmas at the Kingdom, being as though we just switched over from Halloween to Christmas, which was like an overnight thing because I was just at Magic Kingdom on Saturday and they just switched the whole thing to Christmas. I even got to ride the Jingle Cruise. I thought we would take this time to, kind of talk about our favorite memories at Christmas, doing Christmas events. What is your favorite Christmas Disney tradition at the parks and so on and so forth? So I will kick it off with you, Brittany, because as the host, I always feel weird going first. But go ahead and lead us right into it.
Okay. Well, growing up, we would always take our family vacations to Disney World either January or February, but there were some times that we went as I got older, we started going like right after Christmas and before New Year, so in that week in between the two. And so they still had like all of the Christmas decorations up. And I remember loving that. Like, even though it was after Christmas, it was really cool just to see the tree as big as it was in Magic Kingdom. I don't know. It's just Christmas at Disney is different. Like, I mean, it's super magical. Like, all the decor and stuff. Now, my husband and I, we took our honeymoon we got married during COVID, like 2020. So, Disney had kind of scaled back on a lot of stuff, and it wasn't exactly what it is, you know, like in full swing. But because we got married November 7th, so we went November 8th. So they still had like the parades. So I got to see like the gingerbread, the toy soldiers, those
Mhm.
type of things, that was really cool because I had never as a kid gotten to see the Christmas parade because I at least when I was a kid, and I don't know if they still do it, they didn't do the parade after Christmas, like in between that time, um or I don't remember seeing it if they did. So when my husband and I went, that was like really the first time I remember like seeing it, even though it was COVID. It was the
Mhm.
first time I actually got to really like, as an adult, experience it like before Christmas and with all the Christmas decorations up. I got to see the castle productions, which was really cool. We got our picture in front of it. So yeah, it was just, I don't know, for me that took on a different meaning of it as well. Like, our honeymoon was when Magic Kingdom was decorated for Christmas, even though it was, like I said, in the middle of COVID. But
Uh huh.
that's something very memorable. We're actually going to be going in a few weeks again. Um, and I'm super excited. It kind of how it was pre-COVID because I've watched some vlogs and people are like, "Oh yeah, it's now we're doing the very Merry Christmas party." And I think Hollywood Studios now has Jollywood, which we're not doing that one.
Mhm.
Um, but they've got like this Frozen thing that they're doing, which my daughter loves Frozen. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. And that was kind of why we were like, yeah. And it was a spur of the moment type of thing with that. We were just like,
Mhm.
yeah, let's just go to Disney this week, like, in November into early December so we can have her see all the Christmas stuff
Mhm.
because we loved experiencing it for our honeymoon.
I I have to agree with you. Everyone. I mean, there's a reason why the parks are always full around Christmas time. It's because of the amount of the amount of detail that they put into the parks when it comes to Christmas, and it's not just at the parks themselves, it's at the resorts, it's all over the property. Even Disney Springs hosts their own events, which in itself is an ingenious, getting people down there to shop, especially local people to come down there
Mm-hmm.
and shop. They're going to do their Christmas shopping anyways. Give them a reason to come down there and spend at Disney. So it's ingenious for them to do that. But you're right, the parks, will always hold a special place in my heart for Christmas time, and for you too. I mean, especially I can't imagine, you know, having my honeymoon during Christmas time at Disney. That's just magic on top of magic. So that's amazing. Now, speaking of, I know you spoke of the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, which has turned into, I remember years ago what it was and what it is now, and all the shows and the cookies and the hot chocolate and everything else that comes involved with that whole party. What are your thoughts? Number one, on the party itself, and number two, on the party as it sits now.
Well, this is actually gonna be the first time I've actually gotten to go to the Christmas party
Okay.
because again, like I said, when my husband and I went on our honeymoon, they weren't doing the actual party. They had
Okay.
decorated, but
Mhm.
they had cut the party out because of COVID. But
Oh, okay. I remember. Okay.
so yeah, so this will be the first party that we get to go to. I don't know. One thing I'm super excited about, and I really shouldn't be excited about it because I live in Illinois and we have snow all the time. But
Uh
the snow on Main Street is something I'm very excited to see. Yeah, and I tell people that, and they're like, "You get to see snow all the time," and
Yes,
I was
but
like,
you don't get
"Yeah,
to
but
see
it's
Snope.
exactly, yeah." And on Main Street with the castle, like it takes on a different
Hmm.
meaning with that. So I'm like, no, it's totally different. Like, and it's not cold. Like that's the other thing because up here, like it snows, it's 30 below zero, and it's still nice temperatures down there. So that's one thing I'm super excited about. I also am a cookie lover, so I am excited because I've heard that they have like the different cookie stations. So
Hmm.
like you can go to one station and get like maybe gingerbread and sugar at another, and then eggnog, and so that's exciting to me. I
That's
don't know.
something that has changed throughout the years. I remember when the first time I went to the party. This was when, and this is years ago, and the party was, heck, I remember when they started the party. But I remember, it was like 50, $60 to go for the night. I mean, that
Oh,
was the
geez.
going rate. And yeah, now it's $200. And
Uh-huh.
it was all about the cookies and hot chocolate. They had 4 or 5 different kinds of cookies, and then they kind of dialed it back, and it became just chocolate chip and snickerdoodle, which was like, their gluten-free option or their allergy friendly.
Okay.
And then they went to the hot chocolate and apple juice. Now this year, I haven't heard what they're doing. I mean, the most past few years they've done sort of the just the chocolate chip and the snickerdoodle, which is fine. This year, if they're doing it different, that would be awesome because it sounds like they are. I haven't, honestly, as someone, you know I don't I just, for me as a local, I can't justify paying the $200 price point per ticket or whatever it costs to go to that event. But
Oh,
I do like the
yeah.
parade. I do like and you're right. They, at that time, they weren't doing the parade during what has been quoted as Hell Week, which is that week of Christmas to New Year's, because that's
Mhm.
what's absolutely crazy.
Mhm.
Um that week there, they do the parade during the day, which this weekend I'm going to see the parade because they're doing it on Sunday, but they're doing it for the taping for the Christmas. uh
Heard that the Christmas parade on Christmas Day that they do. Yeah,
yep.
I've heard that. Mhm.
So doing that this weekend, and I'm hoping that I can get into that, uh because there's two parade times, and they're doing one at 11 and one at 2. So I'm hoping that that's open to everyone. I have no idea. It might be a ticketed thing. You might have to have tickets, and maybe for cast members only who were selected. You never know with that, because it depends on where they're like shooting at and so on and so forth. And it's not really I will say, seeing the Christmas parade when they're doing the taping is not necessarily the best thing, because I mean, literally, like, they will stop the parade, let the parade go, stop it, let it go, because they're filming. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
they will literally stop the parade, film like a certain section, like if some section does like a dance routine in front of the camera, they'll do that, or they'll stop it and film a live guest on stage in front of the castle singing a song. So I'm expecting it to be a nightmare as far as the crowds are concerned. Um, but as someone who grew up here, it's just something you kind of, you kind of learn to deal with. And then number
Mhm.
two, I'm expecting, I'm not, I want to see it, but I'm expecting maybe not to see it. I don't know. We'll see when I get there. But I am taking my daughter with me, so it'll be fun. Regardless,
Oh,
we're
fun.
going to have lunch at Liberty Tree Tavern. So
Ah,
regardless, we're
fun.
going to have a good meal. So regardless of what happens, we'll still be in Magic Kingdom. But yes, the parade is absolutely fantastic. Once Upon a Christmas Time parade is the star of the show. Although the fireworks are great too, seeing that every year. But yeah, I will agree that the cookies. I have heard that they've added more cookie stations this year, to do more cookie types, which is a huge win because that was always that was like the one thing for me that enticed me the most about the party was the cookies.
Hmm.
I had no interest in the shows or anything like that. That doesn't and it used to be when you went a long time ago, they would limit the amount of people that were in there. So not only did you get the cookies and the shows and the parade and everything else and the fireworks, you also had lower crowds. So your wait times for rides were very minimal. So it would be a lot more fun because you could experience the rides, ride Goofy's Barnstormer 5 times in a row,
Hmm.
back to back, and do things like that you can't necessarily do at the parties anymore because they kind of pack them to the brim because people go regardless of what it costs or what it offers. They just go to go. So it's Christmas at you know everything at Walt Disney World is a production.
Hmm.
From meeting characters to a day at Disney. I mean, I have a friend um, who I used to work with many years ago, and he's taking his first trip to Disney at the end of this month, and he has a whiteboard in his house that he is writing out everything he's doing line by line. Like we're gonna go to this ride first, this ride third, this ride fourth. And I'm
I
like, and
love it.
he's like the amount of planning that goes into a day of Disney. He's like, how do you do it? And I'm like, you know what? Honestly, like I live here, so if I don't do it now, I'll do it at
Hmm.
some point. I'll make a trip for it. So these, one of his biggest complaints, and I agree with this, is the spontaneity of Disney being able to just kind of go and wing it when you're there is completely gone. Disney
Yes.
requires serious planning, and it's an we of course we are not sponsored by any travel agencies or anything like that, but it is a shining beacon for travel agents that can help you. If you have a travel agent that can plan your trip for you or help you get reservations or help you with Genie Plus or whatever other questions you have, please 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 use them because even for some of us veterans like myself, I mean this weekend I'm not afraid to admit this this weekend because I've been so disappointed with virtual queues at Disney. I can't stand them, so I wind up paying for the lightning lane, um,
Hmm.
just because I don't want to get in the queue. I don't want to deal with the phone. It's always been a nightmare. And this weekend was actually the first time that I did the virtual queue for Tron, which it was okay. I mean, I thought the point of it was to decrease the lines, but we wound up waiting 30, 40 minutes in line anyways, once our number was called. So I don't really see the benefit. I'd rather just pay the $10, $20 and go on the ride. But the planning that goes into Disney, and I know we've kind of gone off on a tangent here away from Christmas, but the planning that goes into Disney, and I'm sure you're experiencing this now, is insane, right?
It actually is, and yeah, trying to figure out how to maximize your time, especially for like us that, because we're not locals. So we're only
Hmm.
there for X amount of days. And
Hmm.
it's like, okay, how can we maximize our time? Like our flight gets in at this point and let's go to this park then. And
Hmm.
then, trying to figure out what rides to do. Cause that's the other thing too, is like typically I'm a huge, like big, like my favorite ride is Big Thunder Mountain. So that
Okay.
is like a must do for me. Well,
Hmm.
I'm pregnant this time around, so that rules that out for me. But typically if we're planning a trip, like that's a must do for me. Unfortunately, I'm going to kind of be stuck riding the kiddie rides this time with my daughter, which works. It works, but but typically, yeah, I mean, you're trying to figure out, and then, yeah, those popular rides, like my husband's a huge Star Wars fan, so Rise of the Resistance. And, I know when we were there for our honeymoon, I mean, it was like the virtual queue, and yeah, that's a pain. Like, and then I think the ride
Fortunately, they
shuts
don't have that
down.
anymore for Rise of the Resistance, so you're
Yeah,
okay
which
there.
yeah, because when we did it, the ride actually went down right when we were ready to get
Oh my
on.
gosh.
And so that, stuff like that throws a kink in
Hmm.
your plans as
Yep.
well because, it's like, well, I had this time slot and then I had a dinner reservation at this time. So it really does.
Hmm.
The spontaneity has totally gone out the window with it. Like you can't, I remember growing up and I mean, yeah, my parents, we would just be like, let's do Epcot right now.
Yep.
Then like we could change plans and be like, let's do Hollywood Studios instead.
Yep.
And now it's like you have to have it figured out like to a T, and there's just not a lot of wiggle room. So it can be stressful.
I remember a time a long time ago when Epcot had their World Key Information Centers, which was the first ever video chat that I ever saw, where you would actually go to a booth and video chat with another human in like a desk, and you could actually go to Epcot day of and get a reservation for any restaurant you wanted, even something as popular as Japan, which is probably the most popular restaurant at the time at Epcot. And now you had to get there early in the morning to get that reservation for Japan. But if you waited throughout the day, you could still get a reservation at pretty much all the other restaurants in the park the day of, which it
Wow.
seems, I can't even imagine a world like that anymore. I mean,
Mm-mm.
and it's crazy, it's crazy to me how we, like for me, I don't know. I mean, like, yes, I made a reservation this weekend to go to Liberty Tree, and I'm excited for it. But when I get there the day of it, what am I gonna be like? Oh man, I wish I would have got this place or that place. And you can't really. I mean, I know they've added the wait list that you can join for certain restaurants, which is fun and it's interesting. But, even having the wait list, getting on a wait list and waiting an hour or 2 hours to eat somewhere, I mean, and hoping that you get it, which it's not always available.
Mm-mm.
So it's just I understand why they do it. It helps them maximize the amount of people they can get in, and it increases the bottom line for them because they can cram more people in the parks and get and squeeze as much money out of people as they can because they can get those extra 20 people in that dining reservation. Um, because the computer tells them they can. But it takes all the fun out of just going and kind of enjoying the day and letting it happen when what you're going to do exactly when you get there.
It does, and my parents, because they actually, I mean, they live here in Illinois too, but they're annual pass holders, so they're down there probably about 5 or 6 times a year. But they're also huge Disneyland fans as well,
Hmm.
and they've actually kind of gotten to the point that they're like Disneyland is a little bit more, and I think some of it has to do with it's smaller. It's so much smaller than Disney World, um, but they just find it so much more relaxing because they don't feel as tied to like a schedule as you are with Disney World. And it is true. I mean, Disney World, you're hooked to your phone. I mean, like we are. I mean, it's okay, dining reservation at this point and lightning lane for this ride at that point. So I can definitely see where like my parents, they almost now are like more pro Disneyland because
Hmm.
it's just smaller. And I mean, they're also all of us kids are grown and stuff like that. So, they but they really thoroughly enjoy Disneyland, but they talk about how that is so different that it's just more laid back
It
where
is.
Disney World it definitely seems to be more you really have to plan it to a T.
There is the difference is the type of guests that Disneyland gets versus what Disney World gets. Disney World gets, I mean, because of its size and because of the hotels and everything it has, you get a lot of people that, this is their one trip a year. This is their two trips a year. This is what they do. This is their vacation. Where
Right.
at Disneyland, you get nothing but locals. I mean, it's people that
Mhm.
live in California that come out there. Yes, you do get people that the diehard fans do travel out to Disneyland and go out there, but I mean, being that it has two parks versus four parks out here, it's harder for some people to go out there. So it creates an environment where you have to cater to locals. So what does that get for you? Number one, it gets you the option for like spontaneity, like being able to walk up to a restaurant and like Carnation Cafe and just get a reservation and sit down in 30 minutes. And
Mhm.
it also changes counter service locations. We're here, we're burgers and fries. Over there they're full meals, pot roast and mashed
Mhm.
potatoes situation. So, and it changes the feel of the park too, because even the characters, for example, you don't see you don't see necessarily meet and greets at Disneyland. You see characters just roaming the streets, or you'll see Belle get on Cinderella's carousel and just ride the carousel. So it's just there's there honestly, in my opinion, I prefer the Disneyland more, even though I grew up here compared to, I'd say, Magic Kingdom. Now, of course, Epcot will always be my favorite park, but I think I prefer Disneyland more just because of the spontaneity of Disneyland, and just having random, like, have a character ride a ride with you. I mean, how
Mhm.
awesome would it be if Belle just walked under the carousel and rode with you? I mean, and that's the type of stuff that happens at Disneyland that does not happen here. And there's a reason why, because every time a character comes out, 30 people form a line, and they make a line, and what's that character going to do? They can't just say no,
Mhm.
get out of the way. They have to, because people will be upset and complain. So,
Yeah, it's because we've experienced that with Disney World, especially now having a little one that wants to meet the characters, like wants to meet Minnie, wants to meet Mickey, and yeah, the wait times for those are even ridiculous. And I mean, sometimes, I mean, you can sometimes lightning lane them, and yeah, we've ridiculously lightning lane meeting Olaf, or I mean, just
of
because
course,
and again, that's not something we would do as adults, but that's what as you have a child, a child that you cater more to what they want. It changes the dynamic of things when a kid's involved. But yeah, it's kind of like even my husband and I are like, sometimes it's ridiculous. Like, yeah, we're lightning laning, meeting Minnie Mouse, or waiting in line for 60 minutes to meet Mickey, but yeah, that's kind of the thing is, and we're sitting here being like, we could be writing this, we could be eating here, we, instead, but, you know, I guess we're making memories though. So that's the important thing.
I mean, it is definitely correct. I mean, you are making memories. It's just I think it's just going to be interesting to see different generations of Disney when they're older, because what we got growing up at Disney World, it was more so what we got at Disneyland. We had characters just on Main Street, and you would go walk up to them and get a picture with them. And now with with all the meet and greets, it'll be interesting to see how that works, because even my daughter was very shocked when she went to when we went to Disneyland and Mickey was just on the street, and
Yeah.
there wasn't like a line for him, like no one, like, it's not that people didn't care, it's just like they go up, they get a quick selfie, maybe give him a hug, and then they just go about their business. It's not about having them sign 30 things, or having each family member take one picture with him separately and hold up
Mm.
the line for 10 minutes. It's get in, get out, and then go to the rides. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a big production in Disney World. And
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I remember growing up going to Disney World, and I think, and even like some of the characters, like the Beast was just on Main Street and you could just walk
Hmm.
up. Now the only chance you get to see the Beast is at Be Our Guest. And that's a quick like walkthrough, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
I find, yeah, these characters, you have to actually scope them out, using the My Disney
Hmm.
Experience app. And okay, Mickey's here, Minnie's here, Olaf's here. the princesses are here. Like, and I don't remember that growing up. Like, I remember seeing Tigger bouncing in Hollywood studios just on the street. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so it has changed. I mean, it is going to be interesting to see because, like I said, even from when I was a kid, and yeah, and I don't remember waiting in line forever for
No.
character meet and greets. And again, I mean, and I had like the autograph books and stuff like that, but it just, I don't know, it went quicker. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but it
Well,
did.
I think a couple of things. I think number one, back in the day, not everyone had cameras. Not everyone had. I mean, a camera back, in the '90s and '80s was, a big thing that you didn't necessarily carry,
True.
and even like a camcorder, having a camcorder was huge. So you didn't want to carry that around all day or have to deal with that. So people didn't necessarily bring it. So the amount of people taking photos and things like that was sort of non-existent. The only real thing that the characters were doing was the autograph books, signing their names on the autograph books. So it really wasn't about the photos. You didn't have, eight different people. And the other thing is too, now with photo pass, having people take the photo pass, taking multiple photos, if they bought
Mm-hmm.
the photo pass and they want all the photos they can get, and they got to scan their band, and then
And the
four other
band.
people want their band scanned, and so on and so forth. So it becomes, a production in itself, and they encourage that, which is fine. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing wrong. I honestly think PhotoPass is a fantastic program because I've used it numerous times to, I just find a cast member on Main Street and say, hey, do you mind coming over here and doing a photo shoot for me? I've done it with my daughter numerous times. Her first
Right.
birthday was a cake smash, and we did it on Main Street, and I had a cast
Oh,
member photograph the whole thing. I just said, hey, come here
oh.
and photograph this. And she did. And
Mm-hmm.
it was professional photos that I didn't have to do anything, and I could enjoy her, and that was great. So I
Mm-hmm.
agree, but you're right. It's a big production. The characters are a big production. It just takes so long, and it's I don't know. People are, you have people that are there for the characters. You have people that are there for the rides. I mean, you have something for, you have people that are there for snacks. I will say though, if you go to Epcot and just kind of walk around World Showcase, you do have a better chance of just having kind of that spontaneity, because they do have characters that come out throughout the day in certain locations. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
random characters that you haven't seen in ages just come out, and it's always a lot of fun just to see that and have that little excitement throughout the day. Even the hotels during the holidays, when they have major holidays, they have characters come out there too. So that's pretty fun. But yeah, you're right. That whole Disney World to me is just like I said, it's a production. Everything from point A to point B is a production. Everything you do is an assembly line of where everything has to act a certain way. Everything's the same because I really feel like people, they travel there once a year and they want their trip to be exactly the same as it was the last time. Every single time they go, they don't want the menus to change at the restaurants. They don't want the rides to change. They don't want this, that, and everything has to be exactly the same. And at Disneyland,
Mm-hmm.
they can change because locals go there all the time. They have to keep it fresh to keep them going.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and kind of back to the photo pass thing. I do agree. Like we use it, like the memory
Hmm.
maker photo pass thing, and it was good because like when my husband proposed in front of the castle, that's how we
Hmm.
got our pictures. Was he just made
Absolutely.
sure, that by the Walt statue, the Walt and Mickey statue, and that there was that photo pass person, they took the picture. It was great when we took our daughter this past February because we wanted to kind of take a picture in the same spot, but with her because we had also done it with our honeymoon, like kind of that's our spot, you know,
Uh-huh.
and that they were able to take that. So yeah, but again, there's all these different. They have you do different poses, and they add these special effects. And I think we were at Epcot this past time, and I mean, it was really cool what they did. But they had somebody like a cast member run behind us with like a color wand thing because it was
Oh,
during
that's cool.
art festival, and it was really awesome when we saw the picture. But yeah, we were kind of like, what? But I mean, everybody was doing that, and it did take time. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and I do agree. I think, yeah, Disneyland, they do have to change it up because there are more locals. But I also think, I
Hmm.
don't know, that kind of it helps you just kind of go with the flow out there a
Yeah.
little bit more, I guess, too. Kind of adds to that spontaneity more. We're
Hmm.
here, yeah, it's more, and I mean, and I'm kind of guilty of that too with Disney World because again, I grew up going there, and I'm very nostalgic, and I like things the way that they are, but I don't know. At the same time, I see where things have to change, though. They do have
Hmm.
to be updated, and then there are some things I'm like, no, don't touch,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, yeah,
The
it's,
only thing that seems to change at Disney World is the prices.
yes, yes. And sometimes
but
it's, they're increasing prices and you're getting less
but to be
for
to
what
to
they're,
to be fully transparent, Disney World is a bubble. Once you're in
mhm,
that bubble, most people don't rent cars. They have Disney has their own transportation. They've created a world where you don't have to leave that world until you leave your
exactly.
vacation. And
Hmm.
most people, I mean, there's nothing necessarily nearby Disney like that I could say is, something you could walk to.
Mm-mm.
It's just not possible. Whereas if you're going to Disneyland, what is it, Catella Avenue or whatever the main road is there. I can't think of the name of it, but that's right next to Disneyland or Magic Kingdom. It's you can walk literally across the street, and there's like 5 restaurants right there. There's a diner,
Hmm.
there's a
Yep.
buffet place, like 4 or 5 different restaurants and hotels and everything else. So literally, if you were staying on property at the Disneyland hotel, you could just walk down towards Disneyland, walk across the street, and be at these restaurants. So you're really in
Yep.
the middle of the city, and they have to compete with that, and they
And
know
that
that.
is true. Yep, and that's true because I mean, I've only been to Disneyland once,
Hmm.
and we actually did not stay at like Disneyland Hotel. We stayed at a Good Neighbor Hotel. But that, yeah, I mean, you walk out of California Adventure or Disneyland, and there's Subway, there's Walgreens, there. I mean, all these things where Disney World, we've pretty much, my husband and I have pretty much always stayed on property, except the first time we went, we stayed off property.
Hmm.
But even like we found the drive to where we were staying in a condo, and the drive to the condo was not a pleasant drive to and from, like with the traffic and everything. It was just
Hmm.
not, it was not enjoyable. And I mean, the condo that we stayed at, it had a Walgreens right next to it. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, again, like when we're on property, we don't leave Disney World. I mean, and a lot of it, we don't take our car. You know what I mean? We're flying in, we're taking Disney transportation, and that's it. So, we're there. I mean, and anything that you need, I think this last time we did like Instacart stuff or whatever and have stuff delivered, but that's not always the most convenient either in some respects.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is true. Like, but that is also one thing that I love more about Disney World than I do Disneyland is being away from everything else. Like, it's
Of
that
course.
escape. I mean, so
Yeah.
I can see where there is some drawback, but for me, I like Disneyland. That was something that was disappointing to me, was like walking out of the park and I'm like, oh, there's a Subway, there's the Walgreens, there's cars, just, where Disney World, it's, you just don't leave the magic. Like it's just all immersive. So for me, that's a big thing for me.
Hmm.
So, but again, I think that's a personal preference thing. And I just prefer the being in the Disney bubble.
Yeah. Well, you when you're inside, I mean, when you're in a city like that and you have restaurants outside the park, you open yourself up to having a bad experience. I'll just be honest
Hmm.
about it. Go to one of those
Yeah.
restaurants, it could be horrible. I mean, there's a I believe there's a buffet place like right across the street from Disneyland, like literally like you see the road from Disneyland where the bus stop is or whatever to go on Catella Avenue, and there's a buffet across the street and it's like a 1-star buffet or something. It's like really low rated and right across the street. So unless like or looked on Yelp or something, I mean, I don't know if it's better now, but last time I went, that's what it was because I looked it up. But unless you knew that and you walk across the street and you go there, you're going to be in that experience where at at least when you're eating on Disney property, you you have I mean, not every meal at Disney is perfect. Let's be honest. Some
Right.
meals are less than perfect, but they do have some sort of quality to them. They're definitely not going to make you sick or anything like that. At least that much.
Correct.
And that's kind of a low bar, but they're not going to make you sick. But they are going to have some decent taste to them. And if it doesn't work out and your food isn't good, you know that you're going to get it replaced or refunded or something. They're going to take care of you. Disney's
Correct.
going to go on to make you happy. So you can expect that level of service from Disney. So I understand wanting to stay in that bubble 100% because you know you're getting a level of service. I mean, you're paying for it, but you're getting a level of service that you're not going to get outside the park that you would normally get. Like if you leave Magic Kingdom or leave the Disney parks and go to a Waffle House, it's not going to be the same as
Right.
outside the parks. I mean, there are tons of Waffle Houses right outside of Disney. I've seen them. I've been to them, living in the area, but it's not a magical experience.
No, no.
So, and I hate to use that Waffle House as a as a a point of reference, but I mean, in general, just the restaurants outside, unless you really know where you're going, and the same applies to Disneyland too. But yeah, I get wanting to stay in that bubble. It makes a lot of sense because you want to stick with that service that you're used to. Now, back to the Christmas thing after we've gone on this extreme
Yeah,
tangent of
extreme
all
tangent.
different things, and because this is a Christmas show, I will tell you that some of the best times that I have had at Disney myself have been during Christmas itself.
Oh,
So I've had just numerous. I used to go to Disney or Magic Kingdom every Christmas Day because most people are with their families at in their hotel rooms or on the resort having a meal or doing something. They don't really go to Magic Kingdom or the parks on Christmas Day. So it's always actually very nice to go either to Epcot too, for that matter, because you get all the Christmas excitement, all the shows, which Epcot to me in Orlando is actually the second best Christmas event in Orlando. And the first is actually not at Disney. That would be SeaWorld. If you ever get the
huh.
chance to, you're in Orlando and you get the chance to go to SeaWorld's Christmas celebration, it is by far leaps and bounds better than any Christmas that Disney is doing, and just in the shows alone and the actual Christmas stuff the Christmas stuff of it. And I think the Disney stuff is great, but it's the same stuff every year, and you've seen it so
Hmm.
many times it kind of gets a little old. And with it, I mean, yes, there are memories, but it's like the same thing every year with SeaWorld. They know they have to compete with Disney and Universal, so they really try hard, and they have some production shows that their Oh Wondrous Night show, which is the telling of the manger scene, the nativity scene from the perspective of the animals. The animals are actually telling their story, and then they actually bring the camel out and the sheep out and all these animals that were in the manger scene. And not only have that, they have the characters, they have a gospel choir that sings. Now, I'm not a
Wow.
yeah, so it's easily one of the, and has been rated one of the best produced shows in Orlando at a theme park all year round. Like, it is just incredible. So if you ever are in Orlando and are feeling the gumption to step out of the bubble, I kid you not, you will have an amazing, amazing day at SeaWorld, and you will pay half of what you pay for Disney, to have that amazing day. So it is awesome, and their food is really good too. So
Oh,
so
awesome.
definitely put that through this. But speaking of Christmas at Disney, um, you know, Epcot always has the most amazing Christmas, I feel, at Disney. Um, you know, what I like most about Epcot is getting to immerse yourself in different cultures. And I think
Hmm.
that's where they excel at Christmas time, getting to hear the different stories and learning about the different religions and the holidays that they celebrate, and whether it be Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or Christmas in Italy or Christmas in France, or what are Father Christmas in the UK. But getting to hear all those stories, especially when you have little ones, and getting to give them that fun, but also sort of that education. And they can go back to their friends and say, well, I went to the UK and I saw Father Christmas. I mean, that's a pretty cool, unique
That's
thing.
neat.
And then not only having that, but getting to experience what it's like from a food standpoint in all the different countries. Getting to try their Christmas traditions and the things that they have with their families on Christmas is always an extremely nice touch too. So from a cultural standpoint, I think Epcot really wins, from that standpoint. Now, Epcot, I don't know if they'll have it this year, but Epcot also always had or used to have their Christmas fireworks tag, which they did every night, which, is not a party. It's not extra. You just go to Epcot that day and you get to see extra fireworks after the main fireworks. I don't know if they'll do that this year because they have the new fireworks show debuting. And I can't, my brain is frying on the name right now, which I think it comes out December 5th.
I thought it was the
Luminos.
fifth.
Yeah, I think it's
Hmm.
the 5th. So I don't know. Who knows if there'll be a tag this year, but yeah, that is something that will be out this year. But I will tell you um, that when it comes to the holidays, the absolute best party of the year that you will ever have every year is New Year's Eve at Epcot. There is no party better than New Year's Eve at Epcot. It is
Oh,
it is the best way I can describe it is um, when it's right before when it's 15 minutes till midnight in at Epcot, they will do a countdown and light fireworks off behind each country in order of when they had New Year's. So they start with like Japan and then go to China and so on and so forth. And um, I will never forget this. This was many years ago. This was like my first experience. And this is only half of the experience too, by the way. But I was standing in France, and um, I was watching. I just happened to be there. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just wanted to get a spot for fireworks, and they were lighting the fireworks behind each country. And France came on, and the people next to me brought out this huge French flag, and they were waving it in the air and cheering for France. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is awesome!" And then Italy lit their fireworks off behind their country, and the French flag came out, and they were booing Italy, and they were saying "boo," and it was one of those things that I will never forget. It was one of those amazing moments, just to be a part of that experience. And I'm I'm like, what is going on here? This is crazy. And then to see the fireworks show at Epcot, which if it literally will take your breath away. And then on top of that, I mean, literally because they launched so many fireworks that literally like I couldn't breathe after it. And then
wow.
to go from there to they have dance parties all across the World Showcase. Each country has a different dance party, and when I say
Ooh.
dance party, it's not just like a DJ and like a couple of lights. They literally build stages. In China, they have a dragon that spits fire. In Italy, they usually have this crazy insane laser show with a DJ. They have like all these different parties all around World Showcase. In Japan, they usually have a silent DJ where they hand out headphones and everyone's just dancing and you can't hear any music and you're like, what's going on? So it's just a cool party, and it's neat to think that all these people, for me, it's like this reminder that with all the bad that goes on in this world, with all the bad things that happen in this world, if we can just come together as a world for just one night and just come together and have this party and all be smiling with each other and have our little fun back and forth with each other, but still, be there for one another and have a good night and just have fun amidst all the chaos of crowds and everyone's been drinking and so on and so forth. If we can have that one good night, it feels good to have that moment, like that moment of peace and everybody
Hmm.
there from all over the world just kind of in harmony for that section. That's that, 30 minutes of fireworks. So I don't know. There's just something about it. You just have to experience it. I know it sounds a little cliche and so on and so forth, but yeah, it's really awesome.
That does sound really cool.
It's something, you kind of have to plan for. Um,
Hmm.
you have to uh, you have to kind of prepare yourself for it because I can tell you it's just an utter mess. The crowds are insane. There's people everywhere.
Oh
They
wow.
have to bring in porta johns. They have like little, they're like trailers that they set up inside the park to add extra bathrooms to handle the capacity of people that are there. The
Gosh.
lines for the ride lines are not that bad because people aren't riding the lines. Everyone's drinking
Right.
and eating and doing everything in World Showcase. And they're
Yep.
partying and dancing it's just it's utter craziness. But yeah, it is something that is just absolutely fantastic. And I always tell people, yeah, I know a lot of people, their thing is like, they like to stay home for New Year's Eve. Everyone likes to stay home. It's if you can at least once in your life get a hotel on Disney property for New Year's Eve, you know, go to Epcot, just experience it once and just do that. I mean, it is fantastic. I mean, Magic Kingdom does have an excellent show as well. They have excellent fireworks. They do what they call the 360 fireworks. So you have fireworks behind you, in front of you, all around you, basically. Um, and it is a great show, and they have a special fireworks show for New Year's. But other than that, really, they just have like a couple of like the dance party on the Main Street stage or on the castle stage, and there's not like I've done it, but there's not really anything that keeps me wanting to go back. But Epcot, there's just something about that atmosphere that is just so awesome that it's worth dealing with the crowds.
Oh, cool.
Mhm. So I'm trying to. I apologize. This is a live show, guys, so please forgive us. We're trying to add Lisa to the show. Um, I'm trying to add her into the show so she can come in and chat with us too. Um, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, when it comes to Christmas, I will say that Epcot is definitely my second favorite. Or my second favorite in Orlando. I would say other than Epcot, my next favorite would probably be Magic Kingdom, um, and then of course Hollywood Studios would probably be my third. But they do have that nice Christmas show now that they do on the side of Tower of Terror, which is really pretty. So
Hmm.
I don't know if you've seen that.
I have not seen that. I know when my husband and I went on our honeymoon, I was really actually Hollywood Studios. That was probably one of the places I was most impressed with the decorations, even more so than Magic Kingdom. I thought that they did a really good job of decorating. I mean, the ornaments and the little lake
Mhm.
and even the music. Just I mean, it's like that. It's the Christmas music, but it's like that. I don't know what you want to call it. That Hollywood feel of
Yeah, the
Christmas music. Like,
fifties, the
yeah, the 50s. That's
fifties.
it.
Yep, the 50s.
Type vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the ornaments too. They have sort of those older like 50s style like ornaments that are like
Hmm.
I will agree with you there. The at the entrance to the park or at the and on at the entrance there and around that area, it is very well themed for the holidays. Now, I don't remember too much. I haven't really explored Galaxy's Edge during the Christmas season, so I don't really remember too much what that looks like. But I know that Toy Story Land um, always does a great display too, with the lights
Yeah.
hanging and so forth as well.
Yeah, they do the lights, and if you ride Slinky Dog, you really get to see it like at night. It's really cool. So I don't remember much about. I don't know if Galaxy's Edge really does anything on the
Yeah,
decor front. I don't remember
I
when I
don't
went.
remember. I don't remember anything either. I'm trying to
If
think if there
anything,
was.
it was probably weird or subtle, like that didn't stick out to me. Um, but yeah, Hollywood Studios. I even said to my husband, I was like, I'm kind of shocked because I do love Magic Kingdom's decorations, but
Mhm.
for me, Hollywood Studios, their decor takes the cake. Like, I just love the theming of it.
They Echo Lake is what you were talking about with Gertie
Yes,
the
Echo
dinosaur
Lake.
in there. and
Mhm.
the bulbs like floating in the water. And I do agree that that just general area looks absolutely fantastic, and they do it in that glitz and glamour of Hollywood,
Mhm.
that whole display. So it's just absolutely fantastic. Now let me ask you this: when it comes to the one thing we really haven't talked about, well, I kind of touched on it, but I don't think I got from you holiday meals at the parks. Do you have any favorites? Was there anything that you like? Have you had
I
any holiday
personally,
meals?
I loved Hollywood and Vine when my husband
Okay.
and I went. Just because, and some of it is the characters. I just love them decorated or
Hmm.
dressed up all in their holiday attire, and I think they danced to like "Let It Snow."
Hmm.
I thought that was super cute. But I'm also like a sucker for like the snacks. Like even I've been
Hmm.
scoping out the snacks that they're coming out with and sending them to my husband, and I'm like, I want this and I want that. So, but yeah, no, dining. That was the one thing that really stuck out for me was the Hollywood and Vine when we went on our honeymoon, and we're actually doing it again this year primarily, or this time primarily because we do Phantasmic's my favorite show. It's
Okay.
my nighttime show, so you can get that seating, that preferred seating.
Hmm.
So that's actually the main reason we're doing it, so I can get my good seating for Phantasmic. But
I mean, I
um,
like that.
but I do love like I said, the costuming that the
Hmm.
characters have, and the Christmas music, and them dancing to the Christmas music is fun. So that would be my favorite.
I can totally agree with you there. Hollywood and Vine does have an excellent holiday meal, and it's a buffet too, so you can kind of get a little bit of whatever you want. I will say, like stated earlier, I'm more of a I want to sample different foods from around the world, so I'm more of an Epcot person. But I will say, up there you are. I
There.
don't really
I was like, oh, I think I lost you.
I don't really eat. I don't. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat meat anymore. So I'm kind of lost on the turkey and ham. But I will say that I am going to Liberty Tree Tavern this weekend to do sort of a holiday meal because they always have sort of holiday fare with the turkey and mashed potatoes and things like that. So my daughter can have that, and then of course they have vegetarian meatloaf for me, which is always delicious, which I've had before. So it is an excellent, excellent, excellent meal. So but yeah, when it comes to holiday meals, I will say that that is one of my top picks. When it comes to that, would be that. And then I used to be really in love with Trails End, but the buffet is no longer there, so they don't have any more holiday. Well, I don't know what they're having. I'm assuming they'll have something for the holidays. I don't know what that'll be, but yeah, I mean, there's not unless you're like eating on like the actual holiday itself. There's not a it's not like every restaurant has a holiday meal. There's only a handful
Right.
of them that actually do, but they
Hmm.
do a good job, the ones that do have it. So
Yes, and I think honestly, the Hollywood and Vine is the only one that we've done. That's the only one that sticks out in my head that we actually have done. And then, like I said, I'm always up on the Christmas snacks that or the quick service that you just go
now
and
that you
grab.
say that, um, I will tell you one of the most indulgent snacks that Disney has right now is on Main Street, where and I can't if I ate this now I would eat the whole thing and it would be really bad for me. But they have on so right next to the confectionery used to be the chapeau where they have the hats where they would sell the
Yes.
Mickey ear, the with the stitching and everything else. They've turned that into this popcorn, kind of make your own popcorn stand. And it's so you go in there, they have your regular popcorn, your cheddar popcorn, your multicolored like rainbow popcorn, and they have like a blue popcorn. You choose which popcorn you want as your base, and then they have 7 or 8 different types of candy: M&Ms, Reese's, Oreos, you name it. It's all right there. They put that on top of the popcorn in the bag,
Oh,
and then on top of that, they put like however many drizzles you want on there, whether it be caramel, white chocolate, chocolate, and it is literally like, I don't know how this is like I don't know if people don't know about it because they think it's the hat shop and they don't go in there, but I see no one talking about this, and I literally had this like maybe like a year ago when it first opened, and I was like, this is the greatest snack that Disney has ever created. And I'm telling you, when you get there and see this, like, you literally get like free reign. You pay like, well, at the time I think it was like $12, but you could have your popcorn and then whatever things you wanted in there. And I got the rainbow popcorn with like M&Ms and Oreos, and then they put like 5 different drizzles on there. Like, it was like the works, and it was literally the best treat that I have ever had at Disney, like hands
oh
down.
wow.
Yeah. So when you
Yum.
go right next to the confectionery, the little tiny shop, I mean, they have a little walkway from the confectionery that goes there. I don't think anyone knows that it's there, or if they are, because every time I go in there, or happen to wander in there, because I like to wander on Main Street, people are always amazed. They're like, "Ooh, what is this? Ooh, what is this?" And they get like excited, like, "Oh, what is this?" So I don't think people know that's there, but
Wow.
it's incredible.
Yum. That sounds good. Yeah, I didn't know it was there. I mean, I knew that the hat shop used to be there, but I didn't know that
Mhm.
now there's popcorn in there.
And they make it, they so everything is made fresh at the confectionery, and they just, I mean, it's literally like right behind it is where they're making it. So they make it fresh there, the popcorn, everything is made fresh there, and then they bring it over and put it in the shop, and it is, I have to stay away from there because I will literally just get a whole thing, and it doesn't, it's like, it's not an expensive snack. Like, you pay like 8, 9, $10 for a churro. For a couple dollars more, you can have the snack that can last you, like, it literally lasted me like all day. I just could not eat it all.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it's huge.
Wow.
So check that out when you're there. Or to anyone
Sure.
listening, anyone watching, because I see we have some viewers. To anyone watching, uh, please, next time you're at Magic Kingdom, trust me, you will thank me. your 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 waistline will not thank me, but your you will feel full and happy. But calories don't count at Disney, so there you
This is true. This is true.
go. All right, so I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I was giving Lisa some time, but I think she's having some trouble getting in. So unless she joins the next in the next minute here, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. So I'm gonna send it off to you, and then I'll go first, or I'll go second. Um, Final thoughts, or memories, or anything that you want to share about Christmas at Disney as we head into the season.
I guess it's actually one of my favorite times to go. It's um, kind of, as you said, the crowds are a little bit more,
Hmm.
they're heavier definitely, but
Hmm.
I mean, Disney all around, anytime you go is super magical. But if
Hmm.
you are a Christmas fanatic,
Hmm.
like I am, and like my husband is, I mean, we even, our whole we do everything Disney Christmas wise. Like our decor, our tree, it's nothing but Disney. The outside of our house is nothing but Disney. So going there even just makes it, I don't know, it's just more magical. So like I said, Disney's magical all the time, but Christmas at Disney is just, it's extra magical. So I highly recommend going at that time of year if you can.
I totally agree with you. And what I will say is two things. Number one, I know we are at the thinking, oh, and here comes Lisa. Let me get Lisa on here. Hello, Lisa.
Hi.
I'm going to throw you up top here. I'm going to give
Okay,
you
here we go.
maximum screen surface here so you can chat. There you are. So
Wow.
we gave you top billing because you showed up here. I hope you're okay with that.
Okay.
Oh, I
I
can I can
to
put you
make
back
sure
to
it
where
all
you were. Okay, there we go. That's better, I guess.
Okay.
So we were talking about Christmas at Disney, and me and Brittany have both gone through our favorite memories of Christmas at Disney because we have, I mean, Magic Kingdom switched from Halloween to Christmas overnight, literally overnight, because I was just there this weekend and it is already Christmas. So, do you have any favorite memories or tips or things that you'd like to share about Christmas at Disney?
Mm, Beginning of December at Disney, not like the last weeks of the month.
We'll give her just a second to try. Oh, here she comes. It says no video feed. There she is. I can't hear you if you're talking. I don't know if you are. Yeah, I think she's frozen. So
Jinx.
this is what happens when you're live. Anything goes. It's one of the things that I learned a long time ago doing live shows like this on YouTube and other platforms. When you don't have, sometimes the internet just doesn't want to cooperate, and this is just what happens. So I'm gonna just talk for a minute. If she comes back, we'll give her a chance to speak because I don't wanna take away from her time. But what I was going to say in regards to Christmas at the parks in general or Christmas at Disney is the most important thing. Well, I'll say two things. Number one, if you're in the Orlando area and you can find some time and can find a way, please, please, please check out Christmas at SeaWorld. You will not be disappointed. I will always plug that Christmas event because it is one of my favorites, or it is my favorite. Number two, if you're at Disney, please make time. It's very easy, like we were talking about earlier with the planning and planning everything out and doing the spontaneity or not having the spontaneity, having everything planned down to the minute of what you're going to do. You're going to do this right or that right or so on and so forth. Don't do that with Christmas. Christmas, you've got to take the time to see the shows, see the performances. Do the candlelight processional. See the telling of the story about Kwanzaa or the story of Hanukkah or what have you. All these things, all these shows that they have around World Showcase, and even the shows that they have in the parks are, they are definitely worth it, and they are definitely awesome, and they are definitely worth seeing, and it's definitely worth taking that time out of your day to really experience Christmas at Disney. You can do those rides any time of the year, and I know sometimes I say that, but I live here. It's not my one or two trips per year, but you can really do those rides any time of the year. Take the time to really enjoy the festivities, enjoy what Disney has to offer for the holiday season, and really kind of just live in the moment and enjoy it because it is, as a lot of people say, the best time of the year. And I think that it is the best time of the year for or one of the best times of the year for Orlando. I think the second best time of the year for Orlando is Halloween. I think we do Halloween very well, and then we do this very well. So take the time to enjoy it. I know Brittany is agreeing with me. Enjoy all the different shows, enjoy everything that is offered, and just have fun. And take add those little shows and things into your planning and just days. And I know we're early here. The Christmas show is, everything has this will give you a leg up on everything else. And I want to thank everyone who has joined us this week, watched us live, working on getting shows out as audio, so that we can have podcast audio version as well for you guys. So look out for that soon, soon, soon. Um, we're moving fast. We got the live stream up. That was step one. So next will be to get this going. You can see we've kind of edited the live stream and made it a lot better for guys. So we're getting better with that too. So be on the lookout for that. But we really appreciate week. We really appreciate fans that we have and enjoying the show. And and we're going to be our host and things like that. And I apologize that we didn't get Lisa long. We'll definitely have her on next week. More chat time. Brittany, is always a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank
You
you.
know, I feel like I monopolized the talk time a little bit sometimes, but I really
No,
appreciate you. And we miss Michael, but Michael will be, I think he'll be back next week, but I'm not sure. I have to check with him on that.
yeah, I thought he said he'll be back next week. I'm not for certain though either. So
But once again, like I said, we are not at all upset that he is at Epcot right now, and we are not. We'd rather. I mean, we love being here with you guys. But Spaceship Earth is Spaceship Earth. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I actually do really appreciate being here with you guys and being here on Monday nights, and this is a nice escape for me to chat Disney, and I'm sure it is for Brittany as well. I mean I can't speak for Brittany, but I'm sure it is too. And
it is absolutely.
so that being said, we will see you guys next Monday. I will most certainly be here. We'll all be here next Monday. We'll get Lisa's tech issues figured out so she can be here next Monday, and thanks for joining the Duck and Dog Show. It's been an absolute pleasure being here with you guys. And until next time, join us on the Jingle Cruise. All right, guys. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your week. Bye now.